Hey, Nigel. Hopefully you've all been following along in the Slido. We're going to look at the first few questions that are top voted as of a couple of seconds ago. So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Jacob's question is, why does God kill children in judgment for their parents' sins when the scriptures say that shouldn't or won't happen, e.g. Deuteronomy 24, etc.?
Yeah. It is a really sort of chilling and disturbing image, isn't it? But I think we need to remember a few things, is that children can be sinners. So it's not that only the parents were sinning, which is sort of, I suppose, part of the assumption in the question, but that in actual fact, everyone sins and falls short of the glory of God. It is a true thing that Ava Patterson is a sinner. She's only been born last week, but she's a sinner and sits under the judgment of God, as we all do. And so there's a sense in which God is not actually putting to death the firstborn here as a punishment for their parents, but actually, strangely, in this, and this is going to sound very jarring, but I think it's true, there's actually a mercy here. For as we saw last week in chapter 10, God could have actually wiped them all out. In fact, that's what they deserved. But that God only sort of brought death to the firstborn is an act of mercy. Now, there's also another 7 sermons in Exodus 12, and one of those 7 sermons is about how the death of the firstborn actually was an act of mercy towards the Egyptians, that they didn't all die. And how is Jesus described? In Colossians 1 and Hebrews 1 and various other places, he's described as the firstborn of all creation. And he too died in a similar act of mercy that we might be saved. So there are some other beautiful parallels I hope you get a chance to think about in your growth group when you get to this passage. It's jarring, isn't it? Because we do feel like, oh, that's not fair. And now to get to the very substance of Jacob's question, I think therefore, when you look at Deuteronomy 24:16 and the other references that Jacob put in Slido there, that I think what Deuteronomy 24:16 is saying, no, recognise that everyone's a sinner and you can't sort of punish someone for some sin or something that they didn't do. But in this case in Egypt, even the firstborn children were sinners, and that everyone didn't get killed is actually an act of mercy.
Awesome. Yeah, it can be confronting to realise the severity of our sin, but I suppose any grace God shows us is mercy on his part. Maybe linked to that question, Steph asked, do you think God had mercy on those firstborn children who died rather than subjecting them to eternal punishment in hell?
Yeah. This is sort of like an impossible question to answer. We don't know the mind of God on these things. And certainly, you know, the commensurate question is sort of like, you know, if a child dies before the child's ever had a chance to respond to Christ, what does God do with that child? And all that we can say is that God is a merciful God, that he loves people with a passion, and that he always does what is just and right. So I don't know the mind of God that I might be able to speak for him in that, but I do know his mercy and love.
Awesome. Lauren asked, is it possible that there were Egyptians who believed in God and repented and still received this punishment, knowing that none of us deserve God's mercy?
Yeah, I think in answer to this, it's absolutely possible. And what we see throughout the Old Testament is on a number of occasions you sort of get these little pictures of people who are outside of God's people sort of going, I want in, and them being assimilated into the people of God. So it's more than possible that there may well have been people who actually had heard of what Moses has been saying, who'd seen the revelation of God in Egypt and actually come to be part of Israel. I reckon heaven's going to be amazing, can I say? And not just because it's going to be heaven, but you're going to rock up in heaven and go, how did you get here? And maybe you'll get to heaven and you'll meet someone and you'll be like, what are all those scars on your face? And they'll be like, they're boils from the plague. And you're like, hang on, didn't all the Egyptians there? No, I trusted in the blood of this lamb thing, and here I am because the Lord has saved me too. We'll be like, wow, that's amazing. And so I reckon it'll be incredible to actually see how far the grace of God has extended into the world. And you don't have to go too far through an organisation like Open Doors or something to hear amazing stories of people in places where you just think they would never hear the gospel becoming Christians, going, whoa, I can't wait just to catch up with people and going, how did you become a Christian? Like, how did you get to know the goodness of God and the mercy of God in heaven, with other people in heaven? I hope I have time for that. I suppose I will. It's going to go for a long time.
It is. That's a very interesting picture you paint. I look forward to it. We'll end with Helen's question. She asked, can we or should we celebrate the Festival of Unleavened Bread today as followers of Christ? And what meaning would it hold for us?
Yeah. I am at a previous church that we were at. There was every Easter Thursday, there was a Passover meal, and the whole sort of cedar and all that sort of thing, and that was sort of, eaten together with Christian people in remembering those sorts of things. I'm not opposed to that, but I reckon actually what we do when we gather together and sing praises to Jesus and actually pursue godliness together and challenge each other to pursue holiness is of far greater value than, a Passover meal or something else. You can do that with your growth group or, something at some point in time, and it's interesting to understand a deeper perspective on that history. But I think actually for Christian people, there is more value in what we're doing here, where we actually praise the Lord God and the Lord Jesus who has died for us, pursue godliness together and push each other on in that way. Yeah.
Amazing. It is a wonderful thing that we do when we gather here together every week.